Now on the Health Buzz, here's Alicia Grande.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Health Buzz. Almost nothing can be more stressful on someone than losing a job and starting their own business. Take it from me. But in this economy, there are a lot of people out there doing just that after being let go from their jobs. More and more people are looking for alternatives to high-priced hourly bills from full-service law firms. Today's guest is attorney Frank Natoli. He's doing his share to help those people, to get their business started on the right foot and be successful in their own enterprise so they don't lose sleep and go bankrupt before they start. If you want to call in and speak with Frank directly and ask any legal questions, you can call in at 914-636-0110. Again, that call-in number is 914-636-0110. We are giving out free legal advice today, so I urge you to call, and you can visit our website at wvox.com. That's wvox.com worldwide. So, Frank, how are you today? Thank you and joining me. Thank you for joining me today on the Health Buzz.
Hey, Alicia, Frank Natoli here. Happy to be here talking with you.
Thank you. Now, where are you calling from, Frank?
I'm calling from Manhattan, New York.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty close to New Rochelle.
Yeah, not too far. We have plenty of clients up in that area as well.
Now, Frank, there are a lot of different, like LegalZoom and all these different type of online legal entities who help people who are trying to start their own business. What makes lanternlegal.com so unique?
Well, it's a good question, and I think perhaps a good way to explain that is to understand why we created what we did.
Okay.
As an entrepreneur with a lot of years of experience running my own businesses, as a lawyer, when I came into this profession, it occurred to me that there was a real void in the marketplace that's sort of serving a middle ground. Now, what you have traditionally are a lot of full-service law firms, and that traditional model is you deposit usually a sizable retainer, and they will draw from that retainer on an hourly basis, usually at very expensive hourly rates.
Right.
Now, alternatively, and especially recently, we've been seeing a lot of these self-help legal-type websites developed. Now, the problem with them, LegalZoom, probably the most notable of them,
okay,
is that they can be a little misleading. A lot of people don't and they do kind of play, I think, into attracting people who are the self-help entrepreneur, and they could be useful.
And you're talking to one of them because that's definitely me.
Yeah. And a lot of people, obviously, you're bootstrapping, so you need to try to do what you can on your own, and
right.
You can afford to hire a business lawyer. It's expensive. We get that. But what people don't realize is you're not really getting the legal advice or guidance that you need, and it could have disastrous results. So there's absolutely a time when you do need to get that kind of guidance. And that's sort of the middle ground that lanternlegal.com, our firm, Natoli Lapin, our home, lanternlegal.com, is trying to cover. It's that market. It's making legal services accessible for that entrepreneur on what's called an unbundled or limited engagement basis.
So when you say limited engagement basis, are you talking about because I know I've researched these type of online companies because I recently just incorporated a limited liability incorporation. This is my second one. My first one was an advertising agency, Grande Media. And as you know, advertising went down with this economy. Sure. So I had to reinvent myself as well. And so I'm still doing advertising, but I now am selling products directly to consumers. So that's a whole nother business. And I, like you said, you start off on a bootstrap budget, and I tried to incorporate my Grande Naturals LLC.
Right.
And, I looked online and I saw some things, but it was like there was no communication.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, what a lot of these sites can be useful for, I think, at best, are for fairly seasoned business people who really are just looking to effectuate a filing in a very easy way. The filing, and this is where it can get a little misleading, the filing is only a very small part of the process, and that's not the entire project that a lawyer does when a client comes to them and says, hey, I want to start a business. We have to understand what kind of business are you running? What's the extent of operation? What are the legal implications involved? What's the best entity to form, actually, for your given situation? Let's talk about trademark. Is that necessary here in in this context? What about what kind of agreements do you absolutely need out of the gate to make sure that, you're protected operating your business? All of these things really need to be vetted by somebody who has competent legal experience, and those self-help portals can't do that.
Right. I'll tell you, well, like I said, I had to do my own LLC, and I took it upon myself to do this, and it really was not that simple. And I thought I was going to really save money, but I don't think in the long run I did, because I had to put in all my time. But I had to, put the notification in the newspapers,
Right.
and then send out the affidavits and send the check to the government. And for some reason, the government kept sending me back the check and the affidavits this like 3 times. And
Where you saved money, you lost time.
I lost time.
And time is money.
And it was annoying. And, the reason why they did this is because instead of putting a comma, I put a hyphen. So, as a person who's really busy running a business,
Right.
I have a radio show, as you can tell, and I'm trying to sell products online, etc. I mean, I was very annoyed by this, and I understand. So what is something like doing a basic LLC cost on lanternlegal.com?
Well, for example, we can do a single member LLC package for a client that would include a custom drafted operating agreement, which is required in New York State.
Really? Say I don't have that.
Well, you should, right, and you should. And the reason, let me just tell you real quickly why that's really important, is that for one thing, it's definitely evidence that you are a duly organized company, and you're not operating solely as yourself.
Right.
A court will ask, well, were there proper corporate documents created? The operating agreement really is the core document of an LLC. Another reason is the LLC entity type allows for tremendous flexibility. Now, to take advantage of that flexibility, you can do this through the operating agreement. If you don't have one in place, and if there is ever any action as against the company, and if the court's ever needed to make any kind of decisions about how the company should perform in a given situation, they will go to the state default statutes if there's no operating agreement. And they may not be favorable for you. So even if you're the single member of an LLC, it's important to have an operating agreement drafted that's specific to your needs.
Wow.
And we can do that along with, of course, the registration, the filing. We always prepare a customized guide letter as well for the client that'll walk them through some of the other considerations. And these are things like discussing the importance of trademark, the aspects of separability, meaning open up a separate business bank account. And I hope you did that.
I did do that, but a little bit, some of the Grande Media advertising agency in the first month, some bills were paid by the Grande Media credit card, but I did open up a separate bank account. So let's say 90% goes.
Right, which is important.
Right.
The separability is key. And, we can prepare this guide letter, and we do that as a package. We could do that as low as $495 right now.
See, I totally would have done that. I want everyone who's listening to know, if you have to, you can't listen any longer and you're looking for legal advice, and you actually want a company that you might be able to afford, go to lanternlegal.com, and can they speak with you directly?
Absolutely. We always offer a free consultation by phone or email, even if they prefer. So your inquiries are always welcome. We're more than happy to chat.
Yeah, I mean, $495, honestly, Frank. I winded up spending that just with the affidavits and the time. So I really should have went to you. It's too bad I didn't know of this prior to me doing the limited liability corporation. But as an entrepreneur, it's funny that I have you as a guest today because there's a lot of questions that I have myself. For example, I have a product that's an eyelash conditioner. It actually makes your eyelashes grow. Now, the owner of the company who's manufacturing it for me, because I'm private labeling it, he said he has me under his insurance for limited liability. Now, this is, something that's going near your eye. So obviously, I need to have insurance, okay? But the question is I've asked him a couple of times for the document, and I'm wondering, maybe I should have you coordinate with him and